kill the music. Yes. Okay. Welcome, Shaw Makes Magic, the man. Man, there's so much cool stuff to talk about, so much shitty stuff to talk about. I kind of want to, like, I've listened to a few of your podcasts in the last few days, and I would say the ones that I like the most were the ones where the interviewer just shut up and let you talk. So I will try to get out of the way and let you talk as much as possible.
Oh
But
my
yeah, I
God.
don't know. Do you want to start with I don't even know where to intro you, like you are the agent godfather. You were doing it when everybody was calling it a GPT wrapper and shitting on things. And now all those fuckers are running like open claws and they're like, it's magic. That's
The,
it's yeah,
yeah,
go,
the
please.
craziest thing was like 4 years ago, saying people being like, why would we need a harness? And now they're like, why would we need another harness? Like, what happened? Damn.
And they weren't even calling it harnesses, right? Like I feel like it was
No, it's
GPT
a
wrapper,
framework.
and then recently it's called a harness,
Well, we
right?
called
It's
it a
like a big
framework.
rebrand. Oh, framework. Okay, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, harness makes sense. We're borrowing from the machine learning people and all that, so I get it. Or test, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. Where do we start? I mean,
Well,
you've had incredible success. You've done like an amazing agent. Like I think you've probably done a lot more than I have at this point to
no,
show
sir.
people on this thing.
Not
So
even close. Not even close. I do like Ethereum education, and I've done
mhm.
probably more Ethereum education than you have. That's the only thing I can claim that I have even close to. Like you have AI knowledge. You traveled in a band, man. I wish I could have traveled in a band. That's like such a life goal. I wish I could just leave everything and go do that for a while.
Dude, what
Like
do you think you're gonna do after the agents take your job? You got to
exactly,
go start. I'll play in band
exactly.
with you. I'll play drums.
People want to hear my shitty music. At some point, like everything's going to be so perfect from AI that they'll just like shitty shit. Like
No,
let's just go
seriously.
hang out in IRL and listen to shitty shit.
I
Yeah.
really want to do like a human music band that's like no auto tune, just all real shit. And I want to do like sing-alongs. I think people would love to like
Yeah,
be
like
part
how
of it.
karaoke is bad, right? Like
Yeah,
part of
and I think we're
karaoke
gonna.
is kind of like the crappiness.
Mhm. I think we're gonna hit this world where like we're just so slopped out that like anything human is like very appealing. I've kind of been doing this like spirit act thing, spiritual accelerationism, and that's just like my
Okay.
response to EAC. I was like also really into
Yeah.
EAC, which is like, hey, let's just be optimistic about this stuff. And now I'm optimistic, but I'm also like, look, it's all going well, but we got to make sure that we don't get lost in this. We got to make sure that like the humans get brought along and that it's like really fulfilling. Like I want a universe that's just like, oh, all the shit I never wanted to do is automated. Now I got all this time to think about what I do want to do. Let's do a band. Let's like what is the nature of reality? Why are we here, man? What is the purpose of your life? Education, yeah, totally. Bringing people into the future, absolutely. Then what do we do next?
I have
um
a bunch of kids. So
hmm,
that's what like
hmm,
depressed people claim as like the thing that that is their life purpose. Like as I'm like wiping butts and changing diapers, like yes, what a wonderful
hmm.
life purpose. It'll be
No, I
great when
love
they're
that.
20 and we can chill, but yeah.
My wife doesn't want to have kids, and I think that I would
Uh,
probably honestly be a terrible father because I'm kind of an obsessive. But I love kids. Before this, I was actually I used to homeschool kids and do after school, and I was like really I love kids, and so I kind of think that this is like an amazing time to have kids, and you should have more kids for me, basically, like I don't know, compensate for
I've got a
my
lot,
lack
man.
of.
I don't know. I can send some to
I
you for some homeschooling.
I think
Go
about like
ahead, sorry.
what can we do in this future time? Like I think pursuit of love for sure. Love is a big part. Raising children and making sure the next generation has everything they need to succeed. And making sure that they're growing up into the world that we would want to grow up into. Like it's so incredible. Like I just remember being like young and being like, I wish I knew the answer to this. I guess I'll just never know.
Yeah. Now we just ask
Now
a
like
robot.
pull the little magic box out. Now I know. Like,
Yes.
oh, incredible.
Yes.
What an incredible time. And my wife is actually going and getting. She just started getting her physics degree. Like she's finishing her first
Cool.
semester, and math and physics while everyone's freaking the fuck out. I'm like, this is so good. This is exactly what we need. Is people coming at it from like, I just want to know. I just want to know what's going on with the reality. I don't have to be famous. I don't have to be some well-known physicist. Never gonna invent the next E equals MC squared. I just want to know how it all works. And I don't know. I love that. Like I think a lot about like most people will never ever create anything new, but they'll get to know every single thing that has ever happened, anything they ever wanted to know. And there's like some amount of humbleness in that, I guess, where, does that make sense? Does that resonate?
No, totally. So okay, so this is kind of like a podcast for builders. I call them sloperators, and I think that like you are definitely a key sloperator, but also it's like navigating the permanent underclass and basically this transition period. Well, yes, once things get great, you can go like pursue love and music and kids, but there's this transition period here, and maximizing that is super important, and that's what I want to kind of dive into. First, a question I ask a lot of people is about AI psychosis, like, and their own answer to what their AI psychosis is, like, tells you so much about them and AI psychosis in general. But like, what is your AI psychosis, and how would you define it?
I've always had a lot of ideas, and my AI psychosis was like, I think I'm like just recovering from like severe AI psychosis, where we were like just so intoxicated with dopamine, with all of our ideas happening, that we then ended up with like just too many things that were not entirely realized. And it's like, what you realize is if everybody is going right, then maybe there's some value in going left. If everyone's generating tons and tons of slop, then like focus is the most valuable. It's never been more valuable, right? And like most ideas can be pretty one-shotted now if you really like take the time to think it through the entire structure and provide all the documentation. But is it really one-shotted? I don't know. There's so much more to building something than just the code, and like building a community, supporting it, helping people with the issues they have, just the whole thing. So yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, we were doing way too many things at the same time. I think that's the lesson of our age,
Your psychosis was actually creating all the things that you've had kind of on the back burner, and that process of just slopperating hard and slopping it big and having so much kind of like wailed on your dopamine. Is that right?
Yeah, mean, you can get like addicted to creativity, if that makes sense. That's a weird addiction.
One more prompt, man. I just need one more prompt. Just one more prompt, man. Yep, for real.
Okay. I do love creating things.
Oh, it's so good. Yes. So, man, there's so many things that you're building right now, and probably some drama around like basically the blockchain side of things. Even though the blockchain is like super dope, like there's a lot to unpack there. And I think the answer, if I've listened to enough of your other podcasts, the answer is like meritocracy and how do we get to meritocracy. I don't know. Are you totally bullish? Are you totally bearish on blockchain right now? Like, is it just like a time period thing?
I fucking love the technology. Like, this just to me, like, blockchain, cryptography, crypto, like, that's just the internet. Like, this is just the damn internet. We needed this stuff forever.
Yeah.
How do I pay my friends? How do I support people? It's always through crypto now. Like, it's just the roads and the streets. And I think that maybe there's still a lot of leftover, like, crypto is a scam and normies hate it, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's going away really fast, especially as it's just getting baked into like all the other institutional apps. Like that's a solved problem. I think there's just like the culture thing of it's just taking the 4chan thing, which is like anyone can say anything to you, and then tying it to people being extremely emotional about it because it's their damn money. And it's really hard for builders to build. I mean, you launched a token, didn't you? With all this, like, how's that going?
Not necessarily. Someone else launched a token.
Someone else launched a token
for the thing.
Oh, that's the
it
best.
Was one of the claim the fees bros kind of things. Yeah.
You claim the fees, bro. That's the best because now you don't even have to like. It wasn't. You didn't launch it. I definitely launched AI16Z, and I had to own that shit. For sure.
Like you hit the button, and the token went out. But you did it on Solana. Is that right?
I didn't even know like anything about Solana when I launched it. Honestly, I just thought DAO's Fun was a cool platform. I had never bought a token before. I had been like into NFTs. I had like some tubby cats and stuff like that. I was into metaverse. I was into like the old Ethereum shit. And I was just like working on AI agents, And then I was watching all these people get rich in the bull market, and like I just couldn't trade. I only lose money at trading, it seems. And so I asked a friend, like, could you just trade for me? And he's like, fuck no, dude, I don't want it. I don't want that risk. But he's like, but check out this Dallas.fun thing. And it was basically like these like hedge funds. You know, that's how they kind of pitched it. It was like a little hedge fund that some guy manages. And I thought that was the coolest idea. Like, oh, I just put my money in and somebody else does it for me. And that led to me like meeting the founder and then going and kind of like talking about what I would do, which is like have an AI listen to people make calls and then buy the tokens from the people who are good at it. It seemed pretty obvious. And so we just went to like raise 75 grand to do this experiment. And it was just me, no team. And suddenly it's like, holy shit, this thing just keeps going up. It's 800 million, it's a billion, it's 2 billion. And that was fine. But like, suddenly people are calling me like arrogant and egotistical. And I'm like, I have just been consistently shit posting the same things. I get, maybe I'm egotistical, you know, I don't know. I wasn't like full of myself. I was like pretty like, I have to work my fucking ass off because everyone's expecting so much of me, you know. And I got like pretty sick. I gained a lot of weight. I was like stress eating. I got a frozen shoulder and I like could not lift my arm for a year. It was just really stressful. And I could have dealt with that
2024, 2025.
Yeah. Look, I could have dealt with that better for sure. I just didn't know what I was doing, you know, like I just never like been known or like no one had talked about me in the third person on the internet before. And so it was like trying to build in those conditions and like, okay, I want to build a team. Who's going to want to come and collaborate? And it really like attracted even people who are, I'd say, like well-known builders, but generally just motivated by money. And there was a lot of like fuckery and backstabbing and like disappointment that came along with that. And then having to like own that publicly and be like, yeah, I don't know what, I mean, I know why it's not launched yet. I know why our launchpad hasn't launched. It's because the company that we paid who had pitched us the launchpad went and launched another launchpad and backstabbed us. And then I had to take it over myself. Like, you know, like I know why Eliza took a long time for us to ship to OpenCloud. It's because like half of my developers went and launched tokens and disappeared. And I was like kind of holding the bag. And I can take a like I think I made a lot of mistakes of like thinking we could do more at the same time than we could, and like trying to have ideas and kind of put them into other people's court and have them finish them. And these things just never fucking worked, you know. And so it was like a very humbling experience. God. But like ultimately, I feel like a lot of the hate that was thrown at me or any builder was just like not really fair. Like, you know, if you want to say like I'm an idiot or like my code sucks, like, or I'm vibe coding way too much, like, okay, totally reasonable. Probably right. But if you want to say that like, oh, I'm like scamming people and like what the fuck, like, dude, come on. What do you think I'm doing with my day? Like you just can't put that many commits on GitHub and also scam people at the same time. Like where would I have the time for that? I guess, you know. And so that was really frustrating. And it was just frustrating that like the value of my work was just the number. Like really nobody in our community other than the people using Eliza to like launch their own tokens was using it at all. And anything we did that I thought was cool, where like anyone could have validated or tried it, but like the mob was just like, tokens down, it sucks, nobody cares anymore. And like the intense negativity and like the okayness with the community and like allowance of other people to complain and whine constantly and not like call them little bitches who should shut the fuck up, which is like what you should probably do, basically leads to like a, yeah, fuck that guy. And it's like, there's no value in this for me. All I get is either people posting tickers under everything I do, which makes anyone who would want to use my product run away, or I get constant hate, which is just like would make anyone want to run away. There is no way to build an Anthropic inside of crypto because the crypto people will pull you back into the barrel no matter what chance you get. And by crypto people, I mean like the random fucking people who lost $5 in your coin and have made it like a personal mission to destroy you on the timeline. Like none of these people even have that much skin in the game. It's just total bullshit. And half of them are like basically social, like scamming you while like, you know, shitting on you. And I think that all sucks, dude. I don't want it to be like, you know, I don't want to complain about it too much. Like a lot of good stuff happened too, but we're just not going to get the builders we want in crypto until that changes fundamentally, right? So I was really surprised. I wrote that thing. I was just like writing my feelings, and I was like, I'm going to raise more money, and I'm continuing Eliza in kind of Web 2 play. I should probably talk about the token a little bit, and I don't want people to like keep holding out hope or thinking that I'm going to support it, because I'm not. I have no skin in the game. I had 1% of it, and it went to basically zero, and I had to sell it for taxes. So I don't like it. Didn't get me any of the things I would have wanted it to get. So yeah, I wrote that, and like I was really surprised that like a lot of people resonated with it. And I think, even people who may have mixed feelings about me personally, I think could relate to like the other builders they know who have basically exited because they just treated so horribly. God,
can we talk about the right system? Yeah. Okay. So like, there's like, what you're saying is like, it is a casino. And I've heard you say this in other places, like it is a casino, bitching and moaning in the casino, but like, how do we turn the casino into the meritocracy? Like there's gambling, and then there's economic incentives, and Ethereum runs on economic incentives. Like this is how the thing works. This is how you make decentralization work. And I think there's kind of a gray line between gambling and economic incentives, but in there somewhere is a beautiful system that rewards builders for doing good things and rewards people for making good network effects and good decisions. But it's just like so far away from, even like when you were talking about DAOs.fun or whatever the app was, where it's like the model here is good, but basically everything around it is meant to be pump and dumps and not like lean into the actual model. But the model of a meritocracy works. Like what do people actually have to leave? Do we have to rebuild something? Like what is the perfect system? And then working backwards from that, like how could we create that?
I mean, probably the simplest thing is like crypto is the internet. It has everything. It has zero-sum games and it has positive-sum games. I think as long as we play the positive-sum games, it's actually fine. Like there's not a lot of Gitcoin's not getting a bunch of hate from randos on the internet. Maybe a little bit, but like not relative to like any pump fund project, or any of the like real Ethereum stuff it's just not the same, right? It feels like a positive sum game. And that means that there are more winners than losers, which means that there's more happy people than sad people. The problem with zero sum games is just mathematically for every person who makes $1 million, there's like, 10,000 people who lost $10 and are pissed about it. And so it just breeds negativity. Like, no, it's just human behavior. So lesson for me was I really thought when we launched that we were launching into a positive sum game, because I didn't understand the like economics of parabolic market cap, low liquidity, 2 billion market cap on paper, but there's only like 5 million in liquidity. So if anyone dumps on everyone else, it's really just like a game of poker. Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't, the math of it doesn't work. But also you have this massive base of people who are completely uninformed about that and really love that market cap number, even though it's fake. And just think like that it is like a stock. But when you think about like a stock, like you're holding a thing in a company that generates real value, right? There's like a price to earnings ratio. And because there's some sort of value accrual. So in the ways that we could find like collective value accrual, and like maybe we could like brainstorm a little bit about that. I think there is a lot there that's not even explored. And I love crypto for that. I love that it could be like, hey, let's all get together and solve this math problem and make $1 million together, and then like we'll piece it out using crypto and put it on chain so it's fair and like audited and all that. Like that could be awesome. We could be solving the world's problems and very profitably and owning it together. I want to live in that world like that. We just can't do that without crypto. Like we're not going to PayPal that shit around. It's not going to be an IOU. It's going to be digital currency. Well, imagine we had a DAO. I'm really thinking about this. Maybe this is like, I'd love your pushback on this. Maybe like, imagine we have a DAO and we have a set of problems where we know that there's some money at the end of them. Like the proximity prize in Ethereum is a good example. It's $1 million prize just to solve some really freaking hard math. And in that, like you can download a skill and either try it yourself or have your agents do it. And when we solve that thing, we all split the money. And then we go on to the next problem. And we just basically knock down every single hard human problem that has any kind of financial incentive behind it. And then we could collectively own the results. you know, and like figure out ways to share and profit from there. And that would like I guess I'm working backwards from the world I want to live in is one where like we all own the things, like not like communism, but like collective ownership, because we don't want like 4 companies to own all the robots and all the AI and all the software. Like
100%.
it would be really sick if if you owned like 0.001% of like Elon's robots, like you're set, you're done. All of the problems go out the window of oh, what are we going to do with all the people? They're all going to be broke. It's like, no, you just the smallest amount of ownership of this stuff and we are all fine. The problem is when one person owns 98%, then we have this massive permanent underclass that is the permanent underclass problem. You get rid of the permanent underclass by guaranteeing collective ownership of some kind. And so working backwards from that, obviously crypto is part of that. Obviously AI is part of that. What is the actual structure to enable that? And what's the first stepping stone? Like we're going to try that proximity price thing because I think that could be pretty interesting. I'm also putting some money behind Eliza itself. Just like go to Eliza.army. I'm putting 10,000 USDC as an experiment. If you know, we're going to knock out a bunch of open source and pay people basically to get like subsidize their clods. Maybe that's the start. I don't know. What do you think?
What about a collective ownership of like a local AI, or like get everybody to buy in and get a stack of GGX Sparks in a warehouse somewhere, and then everyone's using them or something like that? Like collective.
Yeah, you want to do it?
AI collective. I bet Sarah was doing it. He was there, and yeah. Do you hang out with him anymore?
Like we hung out last week actually.
He used to do Eliza stuff, right? I like how you nigged him a little bit. I think I saw on Twitter like he quit weed, which is good for him. And you're like, no, man, you need weed. Like ADHD is so bad. Like you gotta have some weed. I
actually also quit weed though, for the record.
Okay, good. So. Good for you. Good for you. Same. Yeah. I've been sober for a couple.
Although
getting old.
You know, I think people, I'm generally a fan of people self-medicating to feel okay, because the world is so fucking weird and it's like not your fault. And so I kind of like to destigmatize that, but I also think, you know, it's personal choices. I ran into him, we went on like a really long hike actually last week, and
sweet,
super cool dude. He's in San Francisco, so yeah, I definitely want to support anything he's doing, and he's doing some really cool shit. Like he's trying to get DGX Sparks into libraries so that you can go to any public library in America and you could have access to intelligence for free. And I think that's
make that intelligence better, like make that intelligence fit on that DGX Spark, right? Like he's not just like getting local AI to public places, but then like getting models to fit onto that local AI better. I think it's very neat.
I think he's doing the right things. I'd love to support the things he's doing. I'm kind of just waiting. I think he's like wrapping up some you know, work engagements before he starts his like nonprofit or whatever. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but I'm generally supportive. I think Sarah's great.
But great coordination mechanism here. Like he basically got funded by not crypto Twitter, but like Twitter. Basically he was like, I like local must win, and people poured money on him, I mean, you know, relatively, to like build cool shit and make local AI work that had nothing to do with a smart contract or a coordination mechanism happening on chain. Like he raised it like the Twitter way basically. But like how could a system exist that could have found and, you know, nurtured someone like him in crypto, and like actually like be a good use case for all this cool coordination tech?
I think the big problem that people would say is like, well, how do I get a return on this? Because let's say we raise a token and we launch it. I mean, this was the problem with Eliza, is we're literally funding open source development with all of this, but it didn't really have a way to like make money to buy the token back. So it was like divorced from it. And so I think that the missing piece there is like we gotta like figure out a way to like collectively own the robots or whatever, you know, the machines of whatever they are, the servers, and then also like reap the benefit of that. And I think that's the thing that you know, I think attention and the meme coin thesis is like half true, which is like it's the funnel in, but then there's the like, what do you do after that and how do you sustain it? And that part has not been entirely solved. It could be there were things that we could just throw our compute at that were making us money back, like meaningfully, you know, that were very valuable to people, then that seems like it would be very easy, and like that would be a great use case of a DAO, right? You know, so I'm really chewing on this myself. I I love Eliza and what we're doing, but also it feels like we could be moving so much faster if we were incentivizing other people to help us. And then like on the other end of that, like if we could raise a lot of money because the thing is super sick, that should go back to those people. How can we do that? Um, I I don't have all the answers to this, but I'd love, if you know anyone who's doing this stuff, I'd love to help them out.
And something neat here, like you're really closing the loop on basically like money coming in and money coming out, like someone actually making money on the thing and like actual financial incentives. But just like to back up a little bit, thinking of like old school mechanisms, like 2019, everybody was talking about TCR, which created registry, a list basically, and you're buying these. You're putting money where you think is going to be a good person that will join, that will help curate the list in a good way. And in the end, you don't really make a lot of money, but what you do is you get a very good list of things. And I think that like sometimes some of these incentives shouldn't necessarily be straight financial returns, but other like better second order effects and things getting done in a bigger way. But it's tricky. And I think that a lot of people that are in crypto right now are in it for the immediate returns and not for making these big changes.
No, I mean, the get rich quick thing really attracts a lot of people with a very simple objective, but that's okay. Like that, you know, maybe there's some degree of like speculation is not a bad thing at all, as long as it's on top of a positive sum game, because it kind of means like you can buy and sell Nvidia stock all day, but they're going to keep printing the shit that runs the entire world. How do we get to that? So I like what you're also saying, which is like, look, if let's say we were just like getting together and we're like building agent DAO to build the best damn agent ever, and at the end of this, you don't get any money, but you do get the best damn agent ever. That would be awesome. Like that would actually, like the second order effect of that is an agent that can make you a lot of money. And so I think that it's hard for people who are thinking in money terms to price in the non-money things, but maybe this is another thing that like we're kind of all hinting at, which is that like capital is a vector. Money is a scalar value, like it's a number up and down, but capital is actually very, very complex. We have social capital, you know, like John Carmack could just go and be like, hey, I'm building a company, and he's going to get 1 million people applying to that company, right? That any vision that he wanted to do. I think a good example is like PewDiePie. Like I have an open source project. Suddenly there's like 1 billion PRs on that. 1 billion people wanting to help this guy because they like him. And like, I think that there's a lot of other versions of that. And the thing that we're really struggling with is like, how do we price these other non-money things, like being taken care of? Like walking down the street in San Francisco and it not being full of homeless people and like human feces would be like that's definitely worth something even to a rich person, you know, but it's hard to quantify. And because it's hard to quantify, it like falls to coordination failure. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, is like all the details kind of get of these like really cool even like I would say Eliza is a cool project. It's an open source like agent thing, but it was kind of getting like ignored by just the flood of people who needed it to make money and make, you know, and do buybacks and all this stuff that was like not reasonable. Ethereum is genius because that shit pays for itself. Like there's not a lot of ideas that have that just like baked to the algorithm, like self-perpetuatingness of it, you know. And it's definitely one of like Ethereum is like almost the perfect idea of or you know, like it just makes more money than it costs to run, and it's able to then sustain itself through that. And so like whatever we do has to have that. And that was the big mistake that I made, was not really thinking through how it would make a return for everyone, even in a non-monetary kind of way, if that makes sense. I think that's definitely something I'm like thinking about a lot. Whatever we do next, it has to check that box. You know, it has to be meaningful. It has to be like, I'm really glad, even if we lost money, I got this thing that's super sick out of it. And if it makes money too, that's also really good, because then it actually can grow and expand, you know. If the failure mode of the product is like, I still have the thing I really wanted to exist, I will be happy with that. You know, I think Kickstarter was a good example.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Like Kickstarter is like an example.
Kickstarter is a great, yeah.
You're investing in something you want.
Lag.
No worries. Yeah.
And you get the
I think I've
thing out of it in the long run. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that's what crypto is missing right now, is it's just people who want to make more money and then they want to leave crypto, exit all their money and go back to their lives. They're just going to these are not crypto people. They're people who want to get rich. And what they're going to do with that money is they're going to pull it out of crypto as soon as they can, turn it into cash, and then spend it in their real life, which is fine. But we should not appeal to those. That's not our target audience for really anything any of us are doing. We should probably not think we have product market fit when those people are deciding our roadmaps, if that makes sense.
Totally. Okay, so who is our target audience? Like, talking about punks, talking about miladies, like who do we want to empower?
I really do. Like, personally, I just have like a really strong affinity for the nerds and the neurodivergent people who I think are overloaded, information overwhelmed, AI psychosis, scrolling all day. There's so much quality of life that could be improved there. There's so many people who I think are very lonely who could be just introduce them to the right people. There's so much other opportunity for like extremely high value capital that's not just money. And I think everyone is like dying for it. You know, the best thing about everything that happened with the i16z was like I did get pulled into, like, I'd say that the real, like, there are a lot of cool people who like started off in Ethereum, and I like Flashbots. The whole Flashbots team has just been like incredibly supportive and very kind. Like, hey, come hang out with us in New York. And you know, I think there's a lot of people like that. I think Kevin Iwaki has been very supportive of me, and you know, we've had a lot of great conversations, and like you know, and he's built this like cool community. I actually went to the Boulder blockchain meetup.
Oh yeah, your talk at Boulder was great. You were kind of malaise. There was a little bit of a malaise there. I think you were in like an open claw malaise at ETH Boulder.
Oh yeah. But also, just I think I was really going through like what matters, and there a lot matters. Like, actually, there's a lot of things that we could enumerate that matter, but how much time do we spend on what matters? And oftentimes we're really stuck in the weeds. But like I felt like yeah, that Boulder talk was touching, and that was just like literally just coming from the heart. I was just like, that was what I was feeling. But I think that everyone was feeling it, and kind of is, of like, we got into this for a reason, and that reason was good, and it's still good, and we need to like make sure that that reality we want does come to pass. And we always knew there would be challenges. I think the cypherpunks always knew there would be these, like, you know, kind of grifter hanger-ons coming, and they did, and that's where we're at. And like in any kind of movement, that's just a part of it. And but that goes with the territory, and like, we're gonna make it through. I think that, like, it's like now we're all doing the soul searching that's gonna lead us to something really beautiful, I think, if that makes sense. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of cool people in crypto. They're just not complaining about the profit or money going down, or talking about the latest Ansem
telling you to claim the
They're in a whole other world.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about how you build.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
up to you, take it however you want. Yeah. Okay. How, like, what harness, what model, what do you, how do you ship things? Like, you're burning hella tokens. I know it. Okay, let's hear it. I love it.
I mean, I have 3 laptops next to each other, and I kind of have like different things going. Usually my right laptop is just like reviewing PRs. My left laptop is like running tests, and my middle laptop is where I'm actually working. I use Codex and Claude. I don't use any MCPs or skills or anything like that. I just yap at it a lot. I talk to my computer like when I have other people in the room, I kind of just type, but usually I'm just talking to it all day. And I write like what we call God prompts, which are just like, you know, like, here's everything, like, just type for an hour and then like press send, and then you know, I really like, the big thing for me is trying to move into just using Eliza as our development, so that you know, like, dog food the thing, And we do have some really cool things. Like we have all of, like, you can load in 10 Claude subscriptions and 10 Codex subscriptions, and then just blast through them until they're all done, which is like really nice for research. But I do still find like Codex is really fucking good. It's just a great app, and especially as they're adding a lot more like power tool features. I can just click on an element and be like, hey, fix this, change this, remove the slot from this, remove this header. Oh my god, like I couldn't. There's no going back. And so I feel like they've hit a kind of platonic ideal that I really like. Yeah, but I also feel like my mom's never going to use Codex, so we're really like Codex should keep doing what it's doing. It's kind of the best at what it's doing, and I don't love the like managing tabbing between 5 chats, which I'm kind of doing now, but
same.
But it's gotten less bad as the models have gotten better. I have to base it so much, and like I'm kind of fine with it. Like it gets the job done. But I do think that there's a future here where like you just talk like OpenClaw, right, or your agents, where you just like in a text message, you can't new chat them, you can't clear the chat. They compact every once in a while. But you want to be able to be like, hey, I've got 4 projects going. I've got a bunch of tasks on each. I need you to spin up and manage the sub, orchestrator for each of these with sub agents. And then I need to be able to manage and get like visibility into each of those. And I think we're all starting to hit a bottleneck where we really want that like OpenClaw like experience in Telegram or iMessage or whatever. But then like we're losing everything we're losing from Codex. So yeah, so I'm very vanilla, but like I want the vanilla to be more magical than it is. We're doing a lot of this in Eliza right now, but it's also why it's taken a long time to get the new version done. Is because a lot of this stuff is very vibe codable, but all the UI UX is not, especially when you're going outside of anything anyone's done before. It's like you're really fighting against the model, and you just kind of have to get in there and do it yourself a bit, if that makes sense.
So this is what I have. A very similar setup. I have a harness that's basically Claude Code vanilla, and I have a whole bunch of Claude. I basically built my own harness on top of Claude Code so I can like run it from my phone and talk to it and a bunch of things like that. But then I built I tried to have Claude or an agent on top of it, and I quit using OpenClaw a while ago. It was just not good at like editing itself, and I just have like a very, very thin Claude P agent that does just -P on Claude. But every time I try to have the agent on top, the abstraction just isn't quite right. And like you said, maybe we're managing too many things, and it's just not great at like, eventually I just go back to going through the tabs and telling it what I need to do. And I'm really interested in this. Like, I know you've done this too. You've been like, fuck it, I'm going to use Eliza. We're like, me and Eliza are going to build these forks. To talk to her like she's like an employee, and she's going to manage my other employees, and then you eventually you go back to I'm gonna go talk to the employees directly, sort of thing. And like, what is that loop, and how do we break out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that to some degree this is just like in 2 years we're gonna be like, holy shit, it's magical, it does everything, there's an arbitrage. But you've been a programmer a long time, like there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's not in any book. There's a lot of stuff that just smell, like code smell. Things smell.
Yep.
This smells. This is not right. I don't know why it's not right, but it's definitely not right. It's not how I would have done it. And I was actually just so right before this, I was just talking to Gwern, who is a very interesting guy, who's working on Guardian Angels, and he's a great writer. He's like an incredible writer. He's like, how are like these things aren't aligned at all. They can't even like write a basic like marketing email without coming off like total garbage and slop. Like we're not even close in a lot of ways. And I kind of related that like these things are like extremely misaligned from us still. If it can't write like a not cringe apology, like you see all these people like pangramming the apologies. Like if it can't write a not cringe apology that's not obviously AI generated, then like how the hell is it going to build my app the way I really want it to be? And I think this extends to everything else. And so like in the end, we are in the business of curating and providing a whole lot of feedback to each of these things. But also I remember when like the thing wouldn't even do 3 tool calls in a row, right? So we've come so, I think this is like a solved problem in the limit, but we're in that space, and you're probably where I'm at, which is like, what are the primitives that enable that? Like, okay, we have like in Eliza now we have this idea of a project. We have project abstraction, and each project has like a lot of metadata associated with it. Like, oh, it can deploy the project as an app. And then it has tasks underneath it. It has like a GitHub that it's associated with, and it has its own work trees, and there's a lot of complexity there. And I think that maybe the best thing we can do right now is like, it's actually pretty good if I'm like, hey, go work on this project and start this task. It can do that. And so it's almost like it's just switching the tabs for me, if that makes sense. It's definitely not at the point where it can continue to manage all of those tabs. But if I'm like, hey, we're working on this now, it's getting there. And especially if I can just stay in voice and I never have to click, it's pretty fun to be like, okay, cool. Well, let's go look at Eliza. Like, are there any new issues? Oh, there's 10 new issues. Like, any of those you can work on? Oh yeah, let's just like go work on that one, make a PR. Any PRs that we haven't reviewed yet, like, well, can you go review those? And it's pretty good at that kind of stuff. But obviously we're still pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically just taking what my intention and turning it into like clicking the new chat button, if that, more or less. I'd like to get beyond that to where it's really, really semantically enriched. It knows exactly everything that's going on. But I also think like we're hitting like, there's only so much we can do with 1 million token contexts. There's only so much we can do with the cost of things. So maybe a lot of that, some of that is us like as harness people to figure out the right primitives. And some of it's just like, dude, in 2 years, the models are going to be so much damn better at this thing.
Yeah.
You know, and Codex is becoming an agent orchestrator, you know.
There's this like super intelligence. Like, there's going to be a point, like you've said it on other podcasts, just like generally Claude is smarter than any of my friends and probably smarter than me. Like, I'm not the smartest guy in the room usually, so Claude is already smarter than me, right? But like, there's going to get to a point where you know? I know people that are really, really fucking smart, and when I go hang out with them, I just like shut up and let them talk, right? And I think that like we're going to get to a point where even like the basic frontier model is going to be smarter than anyone I know, and like there's going to be like this kind of super intelligence that you talk to. It already knows like a shitload of stuff, and it can build like really cool stuff. But like, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Maybe like a lot of things that people have pushed back on during Slop.Computer episodes is like taste. Like, human taste is the like the final frontier. Is that something that in 2 years like a model will just like be able to make something better than a human taste wise too? Like, will there be anything that a human can do? Sorry, go ahead.
I've had some hot takes recently, like alignment's not real, because I think that it's like pretty hard to pin down what alignment actually is. It's like an app, like, or I guess what I'm saying is like alignment's the wrong abstraction. But actually, like, maybe I will also like attack my own views a bit and say like, I think taste and alignment are the exact same thing, and I think that you will know that your model is aligned when you're like, you know, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
You know it's not aligned with you. This was actually a great. I'm also like kind of stealing Goran's idea here, because this was like why he's doing Guardian Angels and everything he's doing, which I think is really interesting. If it's open source, I'm just gonna go do that. I told him that. We'll see. But his whole thing is like, as a writer, like, I know it's not aligned with me because it doesn't write anything like I do, and I know that it could if I fine-tuned it. So what the fuck are they doing to make it so bad? And it's like, well, they're just training it to be the lowest common denominator, and they're optimizing for their objectives, and they're not optimizing for Goran's objectives or mine or yours. And that is why they sound so bad and they write such horrible slop. And so like, taste and alignment are the same thing. When the thing is aligned with us, we're gonna think it's amazing. You know, it's gonna be that super smart friend at the party. I think those are very similar qualities actually, and it's clearly not. And I don't think this current like RLHF, which is like basically hiring a bunch of foreign workers to like decide I prefer this versus that, that's like a sort of, it's like the worst preference model ever. It's just like an average of people who don't give a shit, who are doing it for money. You know, like, you couldn't make it worse really. And so like, it's amazing it works at all, but it's like deeply sample inefficient. We have to generate way more data than we need if it was actually good. You know, we got a glossary term here.
RLHF.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it in. Yeah. I knew it was reinforced learning, but I didn't know the human feedback part. And that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. A little bit of fun on this. They show you two options, right? Do you like the left or the right one?
like a hot or
and they do
not.
this. Yeah, and they did this sometimes in ChatGPT. You'd see they would produce two answers,
So
and then you could
annoying.
choose one. And I always never knew which one to choose. Honest, I'm like, I don't know. They both look like slop. Like, they both have the right answer. Fuck, I don't know. It's pretty arbitrary, and like, there's a lot of noise in that arbitrariness of us just like being asked to pick. And then what they do is they hire a bunch of people, and mostly they hire people from outside of America, and they pay them like relatively a lot of money for where they're from. And so there's a lot of countries in the world that speak English, but their English is slightly different than ours. Like in like, I forget what African country, but they'll use words like delve. Like this is where delve came from. Is that it's like a very common word in like certain African English dialects, but it's just like not a thing Americans use a lot. And that's why like we're all making fun of delve, right? And so it's like clearly not our preference. Clearly these things are going to have to be like, it's going to have to be your preferences, not the average of all of our preferences, but yours. And I think this leads to models that do what we want, models that sound the way we want them to, models that like you just press it and Claude gives you something, you're like, that's banger, that's absolute, like, you know, banger tweets. Like, imagine Claude actually producing banger tweets.
So
Like,
cool. It'd
oh
be so
god.
cool.
Yeah. And so I think there's like a lot there, and I think there's a lot of space there. Something I think is really interesting is personalization is really hard to sell you at scale. It's really hard to serve like a LoRa for every single person from an Anthropic or an OpenAI perspective. And they're really just set on building the God model. Like, they are not set up to build personal AI. And so it's kind of, we were talking about like, what if we just got a bunch of DGX Sparks and put them in a room? Like, I think that
This is
there's
my
like
next
actually
question,
a
is local
real,
AI.
you know,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
Also, I have
Well,
a baby now. I'm
local
like,
and that's
I have a
cool.
co-host. I have a
That's for the
wingman with me
baby.
now. So if you hear any little baby sounds, he's with me. But
Cool,
please
cool.
keep going.
Nice.
DGX Sparks.
Yeah.
Do you use a lot of local AI? Like, what's your like? Obviously,
It's a
there's
fair
this
amount.
huge tension with centralization and decentralization, and the centralizing for companies. Like, things must go to local. But like, when you're building with those centralized models because they're the best. Like, how do
Yeah.
you weigh this tension, and when do you use local?
It does feel like we're in the mainframe era of LLMs, right? Like, we're all like spending all this money to contact this thing and get these tokens back. And it's like, why can't I just run that shit at home? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. And I'd say that like local is finally becoming very usable, especially for the kinds of agents that aren't like a chatbot, but more like running in the background, enriching stuff. And also, like, we don't just use LLMs. You also have to use like voice, named entity recognition, embeddings, a lot of other models, and a lot of that stuff we can run locally. Like if I want to have chat with OpenAI with vectors, their vectors take like 2 seconds to respond, but I can generate those locally in like 50 milliseconds. So there's like a case where local wins. There's just, it's just better. I mean, it's not,
Especially for
maybe
privacy.
the embedding.
Like my
Yeah,
granola, my note taker app is so nice that it just works locally and nothing leaves my machine.
yeah,
Like, so much better than
yeah,
sending it to granola.
yeah. And I think that like I'm really into, I say local and private computer like the same, right? Like they really solve the same need. I think that we'll see a lot of cloud compute coming up in the form of like TEE and these kinds of things, but still like very privacy oriented. And I think it's something we never needed before, because like, what were you really sending to ChatGPT that was that sensitive? But when it's reading all your emails, all your messages, and like it knows your sexual orientation, it knows like every single person you ever slept with, it knows everything, dude. It knows all the drama. It becomes a very different like relationship to your data that we've always had this like, oh, they're taking our data, and it's like it's just not the kind of data that's going to be going into the cloud. And so I think that I talked to a lot of people. Where we've been going with Eliza is trying to make like a really good personal assistant, and saying like, what are the primitives to enable it to like pull all your emails, all your chats, all this
It
stuff.
needs to have
And
all
I
that
tell people,
information. Yeah, it
yeah.
needs to know that.
And then the
Yeah,
follow-up question is like, well, what are you going to do with all, like, where is it going?
yeah.
That's that's my whole damn life, man. And the consumers never seemed to care about this before. If you talk to a consumer about, oh, you'll have social media, you can put, they were never like, oh, what are you going to do? They didn't care. But the consumers really, really care about this, because they kind of understand that AI is different, and it's just like a little bit scary to them. And so I think that local AI has a shot here, not competing with OpenAI, but doing something that they can never do. which is personalized agents, like literally changing the weights to sound like you, so that, and this gets to alignment. Like, I can't align to humanity because humanity does not agree on anything. There's no point in vector space to optimize toward, right? It would just go to the null vector, essentially, just average out. But I could definitely align to you. Like, I could definitely make a model that could predict the next word that you are going to say, like the answer that you would have to the question. And I don't think that they can serve that at scale in the way that they're doing with the God model, like GPT and Anthropic thing. And there's a big opportunity there. What that opportunity is I think still being decided. And this is where like continual learning and all this stuff is like really exciting. Like the science is still a little unknown, but like that's the world I want to live in. And I love this idea when someone's like, well, what harness do you use? You're like, dude, it's like my brain. Like, there's no like it might have started as an OpenClaw like 10 years ago or something, but this shit is not, this is like totally custom now. Oh my God. There, you got a little agent with you.
So yes, I've got the little one. Did you, while you were talking, man, he just like ripped the biggest fart too. I don't know if that made the stream, but it was,
I think
it was wild. Yeah, hopefully. So personalization is something that I actually like have not heard of or thought of in terms of local AI. I've just always thought of like, you own it and you like, no one can take it away. Knowing like the censorship resistant stuff, kind of the crop stuff that Vitalik talks a lot about, the censorship resistant open source privacy security. But like personalization, I think you're right, is like super powerful, and it's maybe not something we talked about really about in the importance of all this stuff. That's a really cool take.
I'm definitely like taking some of this from Gwern. I think he's coming at this from a great first principle of like, as a writer, can this thing just write like I do? Like, that seems so fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Like, how have we not cracked that one? Or like, oh my God, it can run for 40 hours, but it can't even sound like me for a paragraph. And it can be like, yeah, I can load it up in the context, but it's not going to take my moral decisions or values. It's going to have their like fake bullshit persona role playing my persona. And I think that's where we win. I don't exactly know what the economy of scale of personal AI looks like yet, but I think people would be willing to spend more money for that. And I think that they would, understanding that like what they're getting is something wholly different and better. Not just a ChatGPT subscription. It's like your model subscription. And if you want to download that, run it locally, great. And if you don't want to, so you can just have it accessible from your phone, like TE, it's private, no one ever sees it. I want to live in that world. I think that's where we're headed. I think that's where I'm personally headed toward, is working on these problems.
I think there's something neat there. We talked about like, okay, so we crowdfund a bunch of DGX sparks, and then we use those to give the token holders their own personalized weights. And then from those personalized weights, they're participating in DAO governance or something. I feel like we've almost got a full loop product here someone can go build.
Well, I mean, look, it's a thing knows my preferences and values, and that's like what we are training into it. That's what we're doing here. Why can't it vote on my behalf? That seems really obvious.
Yeah. This was a Vitalik tweet too. The whole like AI. I'm definitely not coming up with that myself, but I'm trying to mix these kind of ideas into something interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Another thread I wanted to pull with you is agent economies and agent to agent and agents hiring other agents. Like, I feel like it was like a year ago you were saying like, oh, it's so exciting, agents are going to be hiring other agents, and people were still calling your agents GPT reppers, and it still isn't quite there, right? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm actually really critical of the agent economy. Like, I think inevitably, I mean, okay, yes, 99.99999% of all tokens that will ever exist in the future will be traded from agents to agents, right? Because agents are just becoming servers. And I see that actually like this hasn't happened yet because there's just not enough agents. But what's different is that like suddenly the internet topology went from like everyone has a client connecting to whatever to like, yeah, I mean, your bot is a server. Like, it has connection to the internet bi-directionally. It can host and then send messages to other agents. And so I think that this doesn't necessarily start just with the economy. I think I'd like to see it start with social media, actually. where like imagine a new social media topology where it's a decentralized social media. There's no central thing. It's almost just like an idea. There's no like Twitter. There's just, we have this idea, and your agent finds some cool shit on Twitter and sends it to my agent, and my agent sends it off to my guys, and they send it off, and it's almost like taking like how we used to word of mouth everything and then just giving it to our agents to automate the word of mouth. And that creates like again, if you could tie that to our preferences as well, and you're like, well, I know that Austin is like totally into this, and his agent's like, yeah, thanks, give me more of that was great. Like, you're never getting spam. You're never like, you could have a dead internet, just the fucking deadest internet full of agentic slop, and all you ever see is exactly the things you want to see, right? From your friends, from people you trust and respect. And the problem with the current recommendation engine, it'll be like, you know, Anthropic model, and then everything below that is just more Anthropic shit. Or like you're liking things. It's like, we don't actually care that much about topics. We care much more about interesting people. Like, I don't watch the AI Dwarkesh episodes or the AI Lex Fridman. I just watch all of them because they're all interesting. Because I know that he's going to have interesting guests and they're going to teach me something new. And so like, I don't want to live in an information bubble. I want to be exposed to new things, but I kind of want to be exposed to them by like people who are reputable and respectable. And so you can imagine like a topology of social media that's like totally agent mediated, that is just all about getting you the right information always. And like the idea of scrolling a feed is like, that's like an option if you want it. And this is also the same thing as saying you own your own algorithm. Like, agents are algorithms. The agent is your social media algorithm. And so from there, well, now everything changes, because like, how do we promote things to each other? How do we sell things to each other? How do we build businesses if everyone has an agent mediated social feed? And there, the agent economy becomes a really big thing, I think. You know, like there are the opportunities, I think, for this open up, but it is going to require like a network effect. It's going to require a lot more people to first just like have a damn Claude bot running, you know, or whatever you have. And once you're paying a monthly for a server, like, it's on. I don't know if you ever followed like Tim Berners-Lee's work with Solid.
Not Solid,
like, okay, so I mean, obviously you followed his work with HTML.
Yeah.
Kind of created the internet.
There's like a museum for him in SF there, isn't there? I feel like there's like some Tim Berners-Lee, like some, I can't remember. Smart person was about it at one time. Speaking of smart people. Yeah.
But he made this idea called Solid, and the idea was like, it's a private server where it has all of your private information and credentials, and then it can like sign things for you or on your behalf. And it just seemed like so far-fetched, because it's like, dude, no one's got a server. No one's.
This was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, and they're still doing it, but it kind of like petered out. One, because the people behind it are anti-crypto, and like, you're doing a decentralized project with no financial incentive or reason to run anything. Like, good luck, guys. That sounds very academic. But the core idea, he was dead on the money. He actually saw something that I have come around to be like, oh, he was totally fucking right, which is like, if you could get people to run these servers, you could just change the topology of the internet to be much more like, I think, what he imagined, that like Web 1.0, like
peer-to-peer.
We're all both creators and consumers. Yeah, it is totally, yeah, it's peer-to-peer. Literally, the entire thing could be peer-to-peer, if only with servers. But now we do, and you even see like OpenAI exploring this. You see, like, I think that OpenAI by next year will have like an OpenClaw, like continuously running agent for you with state, that has social connectors, and we obviously have that. OpenClaw has that. Blah blah blah. That opens it up. Like, everything's a server. Every client's a server. The topology is different. And now we can do some really interesting stuff. So yeah, the agent economy, I think, bootstraps onto that. I think before that, it's all basically just like APIs, you know.
It's about a threat. Like, there's a threshold of a network effect that happens. But also what you're saying is like, the agent is a server. And there's something here about like, your laptop is just a server, and your laptop now has a fucking brain on it and can think, and like, you can download different brains to it and it can think. Like, there's like stupid little things about like gnats and stuff where like, I can't get through my local modem or whatever. Like, I can't just like hit a button on my laptop and it serves something, but you can get around that. And I think getting around that gives you a much better topology for what we're talking about. Then I'm worried about like things leaking, like this dumbass like leaks private keys once a month, right? Like, But there must have been something. You were saying he hates crypto as in cryptocurrency, but there must be a lot of cryptography involved in that solid system. Yes,
the terrible irony of it. Yeah, they're
yes.
really into DIDs and the whole like digital identity framework stuff, which I think is also really cool and a great, definitely part of the overall decentralized ecosystem. And then,
dude, I went to freaking Bhutan, and the government is using DIDs. They're using the DID contract that was deployed by like Uport like 8 years ago or something like that. The government of Bhutan is using that. You walk into the DMV and you scan a QR code, and it like selectively shares the stuff that you want to share to them, and you don't have to fill anything out. In freaking Bhutan, it was so cool. Sorry.
Yeah, and I love where this is all going, and it's like deeply integrated into Chrome, and like that's just like, that's awesome. Like some Chrome engineers thought this was really important like 10 years ago, and now we can do like passkey DIDs and all this stuff. I like wallets are great, but like there's a whole other world of ways to sign things that that is very native to like the web tech we already have today. And this is a whole rabbit hole, but that idea of okay, now we all have servers. Now, like, why do we need X in that case? Well, X is actually, it's a data source. I don't think it goes anywhere. I just don't think we scroll so much.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's going to be full of slop. It's going to be full of AIs, but it's also going to be like a marketplace where they can like discover each other and negotiate. And I don't think we're going to see a new social media platform. I think it's going to be a paradigm shift like this. Like no one's going to get the network effect to pull people away from Twitter, but if like that's just like a data source to your agent, and your agent's also in parallel on every other thing, like it becomes very abstracted. And then machine economy makes sense. But also like the problem I have right now is my agents need to hire people. Like, yeah, the agents can call, like they can call a pharmacy. Like a big thing, a use case I think is interesting is like helping people find ADHD medication, right? And the pharmacies in America are just like don't have it. You have to call like sometimes 100 pharmacies. And you can do that with AI, but the reality is that most people are going to hang up. They're gonna be like, "Fuck this AI."
Because they detect it's AI. Yeah.
It's literally like an
it's
AI
got to be
like,
undetectable.
Hey, do you have Adderall? Like, do you have Adderall?
Yes, an AI agent asking about Adderall is gonna get hung up on a lot.
Could I just like hire a human to do that?
Yeah.
And I kind of like picked on Rent a Human a little bit as like a dystopian joke, but I'm like, that's actually pretty damn valuable.
It's actually starting to make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think WorldCoin is actually doing this, and I think that's like we're kind of working on this, just like exploring, because they have like WorldCoin bounties. This is something like my co-founder's working on. But I love the idea of like, wow, you could just like go out and be like, hey, call these 50 pharmacies. Here's $5, and you could pass that on to the user, and so the user's like, wow, this is magical. You just found me my medication. But behind the scenes, there's like, like some dude in Nigeria just calling every single pharmacy in Manhattan, like getting that thing for you. So, and why would we do that? Like, not just because it's a better experience, but it might actually be cheaper to hire the guy. Like, he might need the money more than like, some super high end, like voice SaaS startup that's going to charge me like $1 a call or something like that. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of, there's a lot of value in the machine-to-machine economy as well as the machine-to-human economy. And when I look at things like WorldCoin, I think it's going to actually be like a very critical part of how we make it through. I was like really anti-WorldCoin, but now I'm like, I don't see how we make it without WorldCoin. Like if we can't like basically like put money into people's pockets to be like human YubiKeys to do these like either meet tasks or just like OTPs, like just proving that some human like signed off on this thing. Like that could be like UBI for a lot of people. Like you could imagine being in like Nigeria and you're making like 5 times as much money as you ever made, and all you do is like press buttons on a phone for an agent.
Do something human.
So yeah. So I'm jumping off your prompt of machine-to-machine economy into like, yeah, but what about this other thing that's happening? I think that's really interesting. So not proof,
but
of
it
human,
sounds
but
like network effects and a paradigm shift in how even agents are communicating with each other or discovering each other, and social media. And there's a lot there to be built, and to like we're a long ways from that. I think maybe not. Maybe it all happens super fast.
Ways, yeah. I think it's mostly a cost issue. I think all this stuff would actually probably exist if the tokens were like 100 times cheaper right now. It's just we can't do consumer. Like the average person gets on ChatGPT free and they have a pretty shit experience and they leave. We still have less than 1% of America is using ChatGPT every day, which is like, I don't even know what I would do without it. I'd be lost in the wilderness.
So this is another topic I want to talk about, is education and the future of education. You talk about like people saying that AI is making you dumb, and you say like, no, I have like so much intelligence at my fingertips, and every time I have a question, I fucking ask it and I get an answer to it, and that makes me smarter. I have like so much more agency to go do so many other things. Like education, like when this kid gets to college age, does it even make sense for him to go to college? You were talking about homeschool, like should he just like have like an all the time super intelligent agent teaching him things, and like we're just like checking over on the curriculum and like sending him to school for social skills? Like there's I don't know, what do you think of the like future of education from these angles that you've been through?
AI really rewards curiosity, you know, and if you want to know, it gives you the answer. I think that what scares me, it's hard for me to relate to people who aren't curious. But most people probably are not as curious as we are, on some level. It's hard for me to generalize. It's really hard for me to model, but like, if you're curious, then like it is just like the ultimate tool. It's the ultimate answer. Like if it doesn't know, it will show you where on the internet you can find it. And when I was programming, like 10 years ago, it was just like, I hope I can find this on Stack Overflow. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to go read all of the code of React
fingers?
now.
You're just clanking along like a peasant with your fingers. It's crazy to think about.
Oh my God. The best was like, I remember like looking on Stack Overflow and then finding a question, the same question I had asked 2 years before, like the same problem. And I'm like, how did I fix it? I don't even remember. Like, oh my God. Like Jesus. And so definitely the time to learn anything now is so much shorter. But you also have to like not fall into LLM psychosis and just get like totally addicted to all the wrong things too. But education, I think that like the role of school right now is to help not curious people like survive. Like most of the people I know who are really self-motivated and curious, like got something out of school, but also like just had their own hobbies and did their own thing. And personally, I did not get anything out of school. I was very like, I didn't engage with it. I didn't try to draw value out of it, and I didn't get a lot of value, but I had like a really rich inner world, and like I was really into the internet. And so like I was fine. I think most of us will be fine. Your kids will probably be fine because they're growing up around someone who is going to also like show them the value of this stuff. And that's really important. But like, in terms of the education we can do, I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people aren't using AI because they feel like they're not allowed to. Like half of them are afraid of it, and then the other half are like worried about the social judgment of using it and their friends finding out. Like this Hank Green thing, I don't even know who he is.
And that's just an Overton window kind of thing. Like that'll shift. Like the shift will come there.
Yes, but I think it's very specifically has to come in a certain way. I think that it's not just like, oh, they'll just give up and eventually they'll be like, I don't care about my privacy and let OpenAI eat it all, whatever. I don't think that's the right way. I think there's actually a real story here. And this is where like we can have some relevance in the conversation, is like the things that we care about are local AI, personal AI, private AI. Like these are all of the things that actually would really assuage people's concerns. And to go out there and to say like, AI doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to take your job. It doesn't have to take your passions and turn them into a prompt. We can build it to make you more economically viable if that's what you want, or to take things off your plate and get you your time back, or to let you spend more time drawing and painting and doing that, and then help you promote it. It doesn't have to replace the things you love doing. It should replace literally everything you don't love doing. And what we're really selling then is empowerment. I think people feel disempowered, and they feel really worried that the future is just going to happen to them and they don't get a say, and there's just some data center and it sucks up all the water and takes all their jobs, and that's it for them. And it's like that's a market opportunity for the exact opposite. And like this is a place that it's going to be really hard for OpenAI to come and compete with you, even if you have an order of magnitude less money. Like there's just a lot of people who are never going to use Sam Altman's thing. And then they're going to judge the shit out of all their friends who do. So they all feel this like weird pressure to lie about it to each other. And I know a lot of people who are like secretly using ChatGPT, but won't tell their friends, but they'll tell me.
Is there an analogy to this in other things we've seen before? I can't even think of it. Like what other thing were people shamed about for so long? Like I remember like COVID and wearing a mask or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, COVID is a good example of like, I definitely like, I had a girlfriend during COVID who was extremely fucking paranoid about the whole thing. So I was like, I probably wouldn't have worn a mask, but like I kind of had to, you know,
like disinfecting the groceries and stuff. Like when they would come to the door, it would be like spraying. Like, there was some
like
wild
staying 12 feet away.
Yes.
Yeah, staying 12 feet away, like never going anywhere. And I think I think COVID's a really good example in both directions, because you could also have been in the South and been like, I'm pretty worried about COVID, but if I put a mask on, my friends are going to make fun of me. So it really went both directions. And crypto for sure, it's like a lot of secret degens. I mean, I you know, like a lot of people who like low key had an NFT project or something and like don't, you know, like are very almost embarrassed by it now. And even still, like I get a lot of social stigma. I mean, a lot of people just did not take Eliza seriously because of crypto. So there's that. But definitely AI, the stakes on AI are just way bigger than anything that came before. So like I don't think that people are wrong to be scared. I don't think that they're wrong to be anti-data center. I think that they're actually like completely in the right. And like it's the onus is on us to satisfy their like very real concerns with how this could go down. Like this could just be like Elon Musk owns 99% of the robots and we're all fucked. We're just totally fucked. And like all the data centers are just like there's like robot guards and like there's no employees, you know, like that's the default. I would say that's the default, unless we spend our, like you, me, and everyone we know that can actually make an impact on this, like spends our lives making sure that doesn't happen. Which is a great call to action. It's a great mission to make sure that AI goes well. And what you said at the beginning, that this is about the transition time, like I think I don't even know what I will do with myself after the transition, but I really, really think this is like the time for men to stand up and like make the good times, you know, like if that, you know, this is like the time we need strong, you know, maybe we're a bunch of nerds, but like we're the people who are brave enough to like say, this is what I have to dedicate my life to doing. And not just for myself, but for everyone else. And for all those people, for all the moms who are just like too busy to use ChatGPT, like we got to make shit to help them. We got to make stuff to help the normie people who are going to continue the human race for all of us, and bring them along in the transition. This is like the only thing that I can think of that matters right now is that making sure the transition goes as well for as many people as possible as we can. And whatever we got to do that. Is it start a company? Is it make an open source thing? Maybe it's a little bit of everything. But that is the mission, right? Like that's the order that we have to rise to that occasion. And then we won't be afraid of data centers. We can celebrate this shit. We can be like, look, this thing is protecting all of our data in private TEs, and you know that it's not just extracting all your data. It's actually personalizing to you. And then, you know, let's say some ASI comes around and like tries to attack us all of our personal AIs are like, no, fuck you. Like we'll all fight back. Like
defending.
You know, yeah. And that's going to have to happen. I actually think that the biggest use case for personal AI is going to be keeping us from getting scammed and from like losing our private keys and stuff. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. Like it's like giving people our private keys. But it should be, but it should be the opposite, right? It should be preventing you from fat fingering. It should be informing you and preventing you from falling for these things. And then when LLMs are really serious and scary and like the automation is attacking you, it's like it's gonna be kind of like Gmail just filtering all that spam out. You never even see 99% of it. Never even hits your face. Yeah, I really that's what we got to be working on, right? You know, so maybe it's Eliza, maybe it's something new. I don't know.
Similar to the threads that you answered to about like education, and education being like there are types of people that need to be kind of woken up basically for like understanding how to be creative and understanding, and that's kind of maybe what public education is doing. Upward mobility, like I don't know, since the 50s, since the 70s has been going down, but there's also this thing where like there's never been a worse time to be a junior developer, but there's never been a better time in history to be a solo entrepreneur, because you can basically get like product market fit before hiring your first person, because you have all these AI tools and everything. So I don't know. What's your take on just like the American dream, upward mobility? Like, is it like a select few will take the calling, will answer the calling and become like upwardly mobile? Is there a way that we kind of like make it upwardly mobile? I don't know.
I would love to live in a world where everyone had enough and was rich. Like, that would be sick. Everything would be so much better. You could have a high trust society. You could just leave your laptop and go to the bathroom. Like, everything would be better for all of us. It would just, you could take a whole bunch of fears out of your head if everyone was wealthy and had enough. Of course, I think there's like this underlying belief that can't happen, that like capitalism needs winners and losers. And I just don't think that's true at all. Like, I think there's definitely a threshold for which we have enough. And so it's like, it's okay if there's like trillionaires, as long as the people on the bottom are also like enjoying some of that wealth. It doesn't have to be equal, but we all have to have enough. And I really worry about that, because I don't think that the solutions like UBI are very good. I think that they're actually like could be very bad. Like, UBI is basically the creation of a permanent underclass in a government institutionalized way. It is. We do not have a permanent underclass until we have UBI. Then we definitely have a permanent underclass, or at least a semi-permanent one. And so what can we do? Like, I believe in capital. I believe that like, I don't really think that like pure socialism is the way here. I think that it comes down to like, if we could collectively own any percentage of this stuff, we're going to be good. If you own 0.01% of Apple when they launched, dude, you would never worry. How could we get it so that people who don't already have capital get to own a piece of this stuff, get some sort of stake in it, and get to benefit from it? I've been sort of against like the government owning this stuff, but like, if the government owned a piece of OpenAI and then distributed some of that stock to every American, like, I don't know, man, that could be pretty good, right? Like, that would be a sort of
Isn't that
insurance
kind of
policy.
UBI though? Yeah.
I mean, it's a weird thing of like, it's not giving you $1,000 a month. It's giving you part of the like success, but it is kind of socialism too, right? Like, a lot of people are just not going to want to adopt that thing. And there could be a lot of unintended consequences. And also like, it could be very unappealing if you're like, well, if you get to a certain point, the government comes and takes half your company and gives it to everybody else. Like, it could be disincentivizing. I think that's the main fear. So these are like,
but you were saying with UBI being the permanent underclass is basically like breeding the necessity of the state, and everyone basically becoming like reliant on their UBI, whether that UBI is coming from just like government handouts or a piece of someone else. Like, I totally understand what you're saying about ownership, and I see that like ownership is super important, and we need to figure out systems to give ownership to more people, and meritocracy, the people who are providing the most value should get the most ownership, sort of thing. But I also see that like the way in which you distribute it becomes like other people are starting to rely on the system or something, and that's where you said the permanent underclass comes up. So there's some tension here, I guess.
Like, the Andrew Yang dream is like that everyone gets $1,000 as like a starting point, but his assumption is that there's still some human economy beyond that like, you still have some purpose beyond, like, if you want to go get a job, you can. And I guess what I'm seeing is like, UBI is a stopgap emergency for, there are no jobs, there just are not enough jobs. So essentially it's unemployment, and then it turns into long-term welfare, and then it turns into there are no other opportunities. So this is the only money you can get, unless, well, there's really nothing you can do. Like, the GPT-7 is smarter than you. So
GPT-5 is smarter than me.
Yeah, but GPT-10, holy fucking shit.
I can't wait.
So, in that world, like, oh man, you are guaranteed permanent underclass if you're just given $1,000 a month and there's no other opportunity. So like, what can we do? We can either create new opportunity, which I think is probably going to happen a lot more than people think. Like, I lost my coding job, but now I babysit AIs, and maybe I'll have, babysit AI babysitters next, moving up the stack. But, people are like getting really new, interesting, weird ways of making money. But also, I just don't think that like the average like mom who's like mostly raising her kid and just needs something to get the money in to help them is like going to be able to throw themselves into like becoming an influencer, and that's always going to work. Like there's just too many power laws, you know, and it's just, there's clearly got to be some kind of solution to this that's more comprehensive. Collective ownership would be the way. The big question is just how do you get there? You know, if we all invested in NVIDIA, like sick, we're fine. But what do you invest with? If you don't have any money up front to invest, then like what do you know? And so I think that if it comes from the government, it's going to be like pretty socialist, and there's going to be a lot of controversy and probably a lot of people like, you know, paying like lobbying against it. So then it's really half deployed and broken, and like you know, like anything else, like healthcare in America or anything else.
And yeah,
what if it came from us? Like if I had enough, I would definitely like give my mom some, and my friends, my family. I would definitely like want to onboard them and pull them in. If I had more than enough, I would definitely want to like take that and like try to pull in everyone else and give them ownership. And maybe it could grow from like a social relationships on the ground, friends and family network, helping each other kind of thing. Like, okay, I own 1% of, I don't know, whatever. Our DAO owns 1% of Tesla. There's these people who we really want to help. We're going to like bring them in and like give them some of the ownership. I think that's the big question mark. There's like, give people collective ownership, question mark, profit. You know, there has to be a solution to this. Like there has to be. And I don't exactly know. Do you know what it is? Do you got any ideas here?
I think it's super hard, and I think there has to be, going back to meritocracy, there has to be some kind of reward for doing good. It can't just be a handout. I think that like if it's a handout, then it's just like everyone's reliant on this handout. It has to be something where I don't know exactly, man. I'm an idiot though. Like I don't like I'll build the prototype, but I'm not the guy to come up with the idea. Yes.
Why don't we ask
exactly.
AI? Jesus. Okay, GPT-10 will figure this out. But also like maybe part of this is like even simpler than like we're just like overcomplicating, which is like maybe we just, if we have a lot of money, then we can start to put it into luxury. And luxury could be like people taking care of things, people like showing up, like paying people to do things you just would never want a machine to do because it wouldn't be as fun and interesting. You know, like you can have a robot waiter, but like you don't want to go to like a really nice restaurant and have like some tacky ass like Apple experience in the middle of your beautiful restaurant. You want the old French guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like that just makes it so much
not
better.
Siri.
And so I think
definitely not Siri.
Yeah, I think that maybe we're under indexing on qualia and like quality of life and these things as being extremely important, especially when some of us are very rich. And like maybe there's some kind of way that like the extremely wealthy people who own all the machines could are like actually putting a lot of that back into the people, because the people are providing a lot of value that like becomes more and more a premium. And I don't know if that's everyone's solution, but maybe it's some of the people's. And maybe there's a thing where like the bottom of the, okay, like here's a reality I see is like WorldCoin and etc. proof of human become a thing. Suddenly there's all these agents, and all the agents need to do stuff like have bank accounts. So they start paying like, you know, maybe a dude in Nigeria to do some stuff, maybe a dude in United States because he's got an American bank account, and so that's obviously worth a lot. And so like a lot of the people on the bottom, like, you know, maybe the mom is just pressing OTP requests for an agent and she has no idea, but she's basically providing her identity as a very valuable thing to an agent that's making so much money that it's like nothing. Like it has 10 identities it's renting, and it's basically just renting these identities to prove that it's a human. It's using, you know, it might be even using your credit score or using your bank account for things or whatever it is, because it needs this connection to the old world. But you're then like profiting, and like the amount of money that it's paying you versus what it's spending on tokens is like nothing. So I could see that like being a bottom, like the lower class could be fine, and the upper class is fine, and it's really just the middle class who's like, I've been working, now that's gone, what do I do? You know, like and I think maybe they will require more of a complex multi-dimensional solution, like different kinds of solutions. Some of us become streamers, some of us you know, do whatever, make meme coins, like All the things happen, everything happens. And like through that, like some amount of people are going to slip through the cracks, right? But hopefully they have friends and family who like take care of them. You know, when AI 16Z blew up, I had liquidity pooled some money really early on and suddenly had some resources. And like the first thing we did was we paid off my my wife's sister's like debt, you know, just, and paid off my debt too. You know, like why did we do that? It's because she matters. She matters to us, right? I didn't get anything out of it, but in the long, I kind of did invest in my social network in a way that could probably pay back meaningfully. So there's no single, if it was a thing that we could just like say there's a solution to this. And this is what I hate about UBI. It's just like, oh, here's the solution. It's like, if you can write it down on a piece of paper, it's not the solution. It's so much more complex than that. You know, we kind of just have to go through it. So yeah, keep throwing darts at the wall, and some of those darts are going to hit bullseye. You know,
what might be a prototype of collective ownership of the robots?
Dude, I really like the idea of buying some Sparks. Not yet, but I'm really open to this. So we did this like Eliza.Army thing as an experiment. I told you about this, and that like opened my eyes to like, oh, I know what I need you to work on. Here's a skill. It's got all of the context. You just plug it in and you can start making money helping me. How, like, I think that same, like, okay, that's like a cool little test, but like, what if there is real money? Like, hey, we're actually going to invent a new drug and this is going to save millions of lives and we're going to patent it and you're going to own a piece of that. And all you got to do is get your Claude code out and like use some of your extra credits. Like DAOs could really see a resurgence in these like collective ownership, collective insurance. I think insurance is something that could be a really great start to this too. Imagine that there was like a DAO, and basically by being part of it, anything you wanted to buy was suddenly like 10 to 20% cheaper because it's like finding you the best deal automatically and like dealing with other people. And maybe it's like even doing a two-sided marketplace of like finding people with Amazon gift cards and then buying them from them and buying you the thing. And it's like just solving these like small network optimization things. And then pretty soon it's actually like, oh, we actually do health insurance. You know, like, and that now, you know what I'm saying? And like, then all kinds of insurance. And then like, and then it's starting to take care of like all of the things for you and making sure that like basically like social net, or I'm sorry, you know, like a safety net kind of thing. And also if it could be provided, oh, and we provide compute could be a big thing, but maybe it's like a little bit of each of these things that matters a lot to us, and not so we, you know, if the obvious entry point is we just get the DGX Sparks and like, you know, let's go. But I actually think insurance is probably the way that like DAOs eat everything, and you know, those kinds of things. I'm still just chewing on a lot of this myself. I really love Eliza, but there's a lot of agent frameworks. And I think we just have to think a little bigger. And I don't think any of these ideas we're talking about are that hard to prototype. Like, it's 1/goal. We just got to have the right goal, you know? Yeah.
That's such a good quote. It's like everything is just 1/goal away, really, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the right prompt. And we can fail a lot of times at this. I love that crypto is like, hey, let's try it. You know?
Can I have my agent ask you a question? Is that offensive? Like, what he does is he reads he reads your history, he reads the transcript. Every time I was asking him earlier, like, what should we talk to Shah about? It was like, motherfucker, I'm not going to ask him that shit. So it might be something about tokens or something. If you're prepared for it, though, can I let him go? Okay. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to send him. Here we go.
By an agent before.
If the mob shows up either way, what's the one metric that would prove Eliza's merit beyond the token chart?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the merit to me, like, honestly, if I'm using it and it's really helping me, and I'd say I'm still like stuck on Codex. I don't give a fuck, whatever. Like, I don't care about anything else. If I'm using that thing, then like I did it. I'm so happy. Like, I just want that damn personal agent. I just want her. And you know, I think that outside of the token, I personally, I want people to actually engage with the things that I make, and either criticize them or congratulate them, but to engage with the thing itself and not the like money around the thing, you know, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. What do you think about that, Claude? Does that make sense? He takes a little bit
Right.
to answer.
So you're pushing back on the money framing. You want people engaging with the actual work itself, the craft, the ideas in it, not treating it like a commodity or a price tag. Yeah, let me
I
sit
mean, it
with
was
that for a
personal
sec.
utility.
I think that's
the
the
answer
right
is
hunger,
personal utility.
Shaw. Money is loud feedback,
Yeah.
but it's noise about a chart, not signal about the work. One honest issue from someone who actually ran your code is worth 1,000 price talk reply. The metric I'd watch is how many people build things with Eliza that have nothing to do with a token. That's when the thing itself is winning.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think-
mostly. Yeah.
I think we're definitely like, how much is your time worth? If I could promise you that you could have 4 hours of your week back every week, how much is that worth? It's definitely
What's
worth
that worth?
It's worth something. It's worth a lot. you
Yeah.
know? I think that's really what I'm going for. I think agents that get you your time back, and like in a world of slop, de-slopping, pulling things away, less notifications, is worth so much. And focus becomes a lot easier when there's just less things to focus on. So
Hell yeah.
that's my KPI. Can I
I
save
think so.
Austin
Like
4 hours?
personal utility, yeah, saving people time, even like personal agents or something of like personalized agents, like all of that. You'll know the money. That's the true like AGI, when you stop using Codex and you start using Eliza to build things because it's actually like useful to you and not like you're forcing yourself to eat glass or something. But that's like personal utility, and also people using it themselves, right? It's sort of like when you're building a product and people start paying for it. It's like that magical moment of like, you've got something. Oh, good burn.
Yeah.
Hell
and
yeah,
like,
man.
yeah. How are we doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry we were so long.
I love it.
I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming on. I know you got a lot going on in your life, and man, like, just keep your head up and keep building. And I think you're doing a good job of it. Like, you're fine. You're doing great.
Yeah. I really, if you're working on anything that's really interesting, I'd love to help. So, definitely keep me in mind. Honestly, I would contribute a lot of tokens to it.
Hell yeah. And I think you mentioned Owaki too. I feel like I'm right in line with Owaki. He's an hour away. We talk a lot. Like, I think that, and he's doing a lot of good things too. I think that mindset is the good mindset. Like, build the protocol. What's that?
Right now, I said the same thing to him of like, I just let me, whatever you're working on, like I want to help. And I think right now, like I'm continuing to just keep shipping on Eliza, but it's a little endless. Like, it's just like so much to do all the time that I think there's something humbling about helping other people with their vision, who have a vision and need help as well. And the easiest way to get a bunch of people together is to go help somebody else with their thing. So yeah, I'm if there's any like great mission for us to work on in this space that could like help all the people and like help the transition, I would just go full on that. Like that sounds really rewarding.
That's awesome. And same back to you, man. The channel's already always open. I'm always prototyping things. I'm always looking to figure out how to like build the thing that matters and make like really move the needle. So whatever I can help with also.
Same. All right, well, let's keep that in mind. This will happen. We're gonna get like a super group of people
It'd be
together.
great. Yeah.
Sarah can lead
super
it.
group of sloperators. Yes, he would be a good one. All right, let me have Claude do us an outro, and I'll get some music playing. Thank you so much, Shaw.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Great chat.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Homies, big love to Shaw. From AI-16Z chaos to Babylon, the message tonight was simple. Play positive sum games, own a slice of the robots together, and engage with the work, not the chart. Go run his code. This was Slop.Computer. The lobster loves you. Good night, homies.
Nailed it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Shaw. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head up.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Take care.